lowest, greatest, highest, I will come to thee.
Though I do not think Christians should gamble, I'm going to borrow some gambling terms for this devotional. Most people live their lives based on the odds. For example, if there is a 10% chance of rain, most will not take an umbrella with them. However, the greater the chance of rain, the more likely people will bring an umbrella, especially if it is greater than 50%. When people play poker with real money and they want to make a big move, sometimes they will put all their money in. Sometimes they have a great hand and feel like that there's no way that they can lose. And other times they do it as a bluff, hoping that others will think that they do have a great hand when they don't, and that they will fold. If the opponent feels like the odds are against him, he will fold. With this thought in mind, I want you to consider the following text, Acts 12, verse number 1. Now about that time Herod the king stretched out his hand to harass some from the church. Then he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword. And because he saw that it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to seize Peter also. Now it was during the day of unleavened bread. So when he had arrested him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 squads of soldiers to keep him, intending to bring him before the people after Passover. Peter was therefore kept in prison, but constant prayer was offered to God for him by the church. And when Herod was about to bring him out, that night Peter was sleeping, bound with 2 chains between 2 soldiers, and the guards before the door were keeping the prison. Now behold, an angel of the Lord stood by him, and a light shone in the prison. And he struck Peter on the side and raised him up, saying, Arise quickly. And his chains fell off his hands. Then the angel said to him, Gird yourself and tie on your sandals. And so he did. And he said to him, Put on your garment and follow me. So he went out and followed him, and did not know that what was done by the angel was real, but thought he was seeing a vision. When they were past the first and the second guard post, they came to the iron gate that leads to the city, which opened to them of its own accord. And they went out and went down one street, and immediately the angel departed from him. And when Peter had come to himself, he said, Now I know for certain that the Lord has sent his angel, and has delivered me from the hand of Herod, and from all the expectation of the Jewish people. So when he had considered this, he came to the house of Mary, the mother of John, whose surname was Mark, where many were gathered together praying. And as Peter knocked on the door of the gate, a girl named Rhoda came to answer. When she recognized Peter's voice, because of her gladness, she did not open the gate, but ran in and announced that Peter stood before the gate. But they said to her, You are beside yourself. Yet she kept insisting that it was so. So they said, It is his angel. Now Peter continued knocking, and when they opened the door and saw him, they were astonished. But motioning to them with his hand to keep silent, he declared to them how the Lord had brought him out of prison. And he said, Go tell these things to James and to the brethren. And he departed and went to another place. We learn that James was already put to death, and the opposing Jews loved it. So Herod arrested Peter and was planning on doing the same to him. So these opposing Jews would have been all in with the odds of Peter being put to death. I cannot say for sure what every Christian in the church was thinking as they were praying for Peter, but based on the reaction that these Christians had when Peter shows up, it seems that they thought the odds were against him as well. It makes me wonder if they were praying for deliverance, or if they were praying that his death would be swift. If they were praying for his freedom, they must not have thought it would happen, since they were in denial when Rhoda said that Peter was at the gate. While they continued to pray for Peter, it is as if they had folded on him not being killed. We learn from this example that when it comes to God, we should not pay a lot of attention to the odds, because he has a way of overcoming all odds, just as he did with Peter. There are many examples of how God defies the odds in the Bible. So as Christians, we should be all in when it comes to putting our lives and our trust in God. We should never forget how powerful prayer can be, because prayer can change things. So do not ever fold on God, because He can give you the victory that you are looking for despite the odds. As Christians, we already know that we can win the game of life no matter how many losses we have along the way, because eternity in heaven will be ours as long as we continue to be all in when it comes to loving God and keeping His commandments.